Oh, welcome everyone. It's like a lot of art streams, isn't it? It's like
A
277, I
lot.
think.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's many.
That's, I don't know. Someone can do the math of how many years that is. Days and months.
I'll I'll figure out which Pokemon we're on.
That's a lot
Brilliant.
of Pokemon.
We do have 1,000 Pokemon to work with.
Yeah,
Is that how many they're up to now?
Wello, the Burb.
Yeah, they're about over 1,000.
That's too many Pokemon. It is.
So we gotta do all of them. We gotta do stream for every Pokemon.
That's a lot of streams. We will be
By the
on
time
to
we get any progress towards that, they'll make a new generation. There's even more.
Who's the
Pokemon.
official stream Pokemon this time? Who's their Pokemon today?
Wello. It's
Mellow?
the big, confident-looking Burb.
Alright.
Is that a marshmallow bird?
I wish.
Alright, well I need someone to draw me a marshmallow bird now.
Alright, ready with wings. Let's go.
There you go. Yeah, so it's 277 streams. We got lots of horse here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do the normal blurb of submit art and questions because y'all have filled my canvas. And unless if you want to talk Aggie into giving us more canvas, this is all we got to work with. So enjoy.
Increase the size, but who wants to do that? Let's effort.
So let's I don't know, Tofu's here. He gets to start off. Tofu. Wakey, wakey. Wait, I'll play the. I guess he can't hear my.
Oh yeah,
audio
I was
clip.
meant to say something. Sorry. So a question here, I reckon, is the rendering. I reckon the rendering of the character.
The
Wait,
rendering.
yeah, like does he look 3D enough? And also, yeah,
The answer is yes.
like that. And the other thing is the wings. The wings tree is a huge contrast. You can see, like in the face, you can see bare details they try to do with the brush strokes, and then on the head it's like the highlights. On uniform, there's like some frozen here and there. On the wings, it just really shows that it's a huge contrast, and it looks out of place. But I'm not too sure how can I do wings. So yeah, other than getting some reference, is there any else tips and tricks that I could do to fix this?
The wings are one of those things where it's like it feels like, "Oh, how am I ever going to learn how to do wings?" And you just sort of like truck away trying to figure it out, and then as you get better with the feeling of it, it becomes like one of the most fun things to do. It just takes like just experience, I guess, and in the meantime using like bird wings and looking at examples of how cartoons like simplify those wings to different shapes is a good idea, I think. It can give you an idea of what sort of direction to use the shapes in.
Yeah, I see.
So my question would be, do you add the wings on to this already finished canvas, or do you have a much bigger canvas around this entire picture? Like, is what we see the size of your canvas, or do you have a bigger canvas than this that shows stuff that's been cut off?
The thing is, like, I did drew pretty big. Not like the full thing, full body, but I just
Mhm,
have
mhm.
to be more to it. But I have to cut it down for the portrait, so you have to focus on the face.
No,
But
that's
and
fine.
then
Okay, so there is more outside of this that you drew initially, is what
Yeah.
Annie's asking.
yes, but for the closing and the pony. But afterwards, after I put that in, I realized, oh, this looks a bit boring. I need to add something else to it. So I added the wings afterwards. That's why it looks awkward because I added them later. Yeah.
So that can attribute to it. What I was gonna suggest is draw the full, like at least a bust up. Get their chest in there, so you get the full feel of the wings instead of just them peeking out. Because if you
Okay.
just something adding it on, you're not gonna get the full breadth of what they're gonna be doing, how they're gonna be sitting. Like if you look at even humans with like look at angels, angels with their wings, folded behind them, you'll see how the connection looks a bit different. Like right now, we see, let me get a better color. Get red. So we see this wing come down and then go into the neck, where the connection point of these wings is gonna be down by the shoulder. So to get the full feeling of these wings, it's probably gonna be more like this big loop that I'm drawing off the canvas for, which is
Mm-hmm.
why it's really helpful to draw the full thing, not just what we're seeing. Draw, you don't have to go detail a full body, but draw it out as if you were going to be drawing the full body, the full wings, top
Yeah,
to.
okay. That definitely help, yeah. Awesome.
And as for the rendering, I say the shading is great. It does portray 3D, but you could add on top of this another layer of shading, getting the darkest of the dark spots. There's some spots in shadow, like right here where stuff connects. There's some parts that you're not even gonna see the detail of because it's gonna be nice and dark in these little crevices. And stuff like that can really help pop the 3D-ness of the shadow. Because there's not just
Okay.
like one layer of darkness. It's usually multiple layers of different types of darknesses and different types of shadows, some smooth, some hard, some deeper than others because they're two spots that touch each other and become extra dark.
Yeah, for sure.
I think in one of those Marco Bucci video things, he talks about like lost edges and about how shapes combine when they like have like similar kinds of values or anything like that. In a lot of these shadow areas, a lot of them will become so dark that they'll just sort of blend all together.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Yeah.
same for like underneath the hat. You see this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of that would probably sort of become an indecipherable bit of a mess of just like dark shapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when things get too bright or too dark, it gets hard for like eyes to actually see it. And so, in the really dark areas, in the really bright areas, you can chuck the specificity, I guess. You can chuck stuff away, like information away in the really light and the really dark areas, and it will make it look better because it'll more accurately represent what our eyes see.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, good
But
picture.
yeah, it is wonderful. You're doing really great. The beard, I love the texture on the beard. This is some good stuff, good development, and it's only going to keep getting better. I just want to keep reminding that it's only going to keep getting better the more you do it. It may not feel great now, but it will.
The beard is
The
actually
the
pretty
eyes, the bending expression is really good. Like there's a lot of stretchiness going on.
yeah, I got some help from Pixie regarding the eyebrows. Well, originally one the eyebrows too high. Yeah, the eyebrows a bit lower, looks a lot more expressive. Yeah, but the beard is actually very accidental. How should I put this? So yeah, I just use like one brush and then sometimes it just works out. I don't know.
Sometimes art just does that. It's sometimes things just work out, and that's just how it goes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the art god was kind to me this day.
Well, I guess then we shall move on to the
Yes,
next image.
thank you.
All right,
Yep.
Vex,
No problem.
you're in the voice chat. Let's use your picture next. You submitted a sleeping
Cool.
horse, which is
Yeah.
I agree with sleepy horse.
Sorry, the stream's catching up.
You'll
we
get
go.
there. You heard our spiel about critique?
Yes, I heard the spiel.
We're desperate,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I do go on Reddit sometimes, but it's been kind of mean to me in the past, so I try to avoid it as much as possible, just for personal reasons. But
Oh, that's
I do
totally
try.
fine.
Yeah, I do try to do my best here on the Discord to critique where I think I can help. So
Yeah, you don't have to critique only on Reddit. I mean, there's so many other avenues of critique to deliver.
You do good stuff on the Discord.
well, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, this horse I was just mostly struggling with the arm that's behind its head that's on top of the other hoof, and the back area and like the leg. Yeah, it's really hard. It was really hard to find references for this that weren't covered by the tail or the wing, or had really goofy like My Little Pony proportions that they use in the show, because
It's
it's
a difficult
animated.
pose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boy, do I love covering a part of the leg with the tail.
See, for something like this, if I couldn't find a pony reference, I would go to like dogs or cats, since it's pretty much this
Mhm.
pose is taken from dogs or cats, since I don't think horses would actually sleep this way.
No.
Um,
Right.
But yeah, that would be my first instinct to go there. And looking at some dog pictures I have pulled up, it's funny. The paws like do these weird, the front arms when they go under a head, it's like they disappear into this void that makes no sense and then pop out the other side.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I think if you were to fix that though, the head would be up just a bit more, because your legs are actually smooshed into each other. They have no
Yeah.
bone. So the base of your head would have to essentially, yeah, your jaw would be down here, sort of deal. Like there. Yeah? Makes sense?
Mhm.
I would be lazy and probably lower the legs, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Or I do the even slightly lazier and take the uh, under hoof or whichever leg is more available, and just place it in front of the face. Now I even get away with not drawing a part of the face. I'm winning all these games.
If you can't draw it, just don't draw it.
Listen, just because all my people wear mittens and shoes at any given time, including while sleeping, doesn't mean anything.
Ars Tech.
It's law.
It's cold. Also, I'd add the rest of the ear. Just disappeared. The horn took it off in the Great Horn War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was trying to there was hair on top of this and I like forgot that I erased part of the head, so I had to like quickly go back in and sketch it before I submitted it, so
That would make sense.
yeah, just to get the pose a little bit more clear.
All right, shall we steamroll on to our next one?
I just have a quick thing about the back leg. I would just be careful about where this joint is. Just because this here is like a bend of the leg itself, so I would even come in a little bit because this is like one bone section and then it curves to another bone section. And then we pop out to a third, and then we have the hoof. So just to tuck it in a little bit more and pull up where the two joints plop into each other. So if I was like drawing standing up, they kind of like the folds like move weird when they're bending so extreme. I don't know. Just getting that nice like fold in the leg itself. Let me cut down all my scribbles. Boop, boop. Let's move a little closer to that
Okay.
perhaps.
Okay.
And adjust per needed, but this is just a quick trying to figure out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
Okay, good. Whew.
All right. Borealis, I believe I see you in the Picarto. You submitted a pinky and you're wondering about her shirt or her jacket. Yeah, how does the
Is this a
jacket look?
human
I'm
one?
having trouble with the bit of the hips. It's the pinky down at the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, okay.
I'm having troubles with... how does the jacket look? I'm having troubles with the bits on the hips, and I can't tell if the jacket is believable positioned there. I think that's what they're trying to say.
I see. My questions for the center part is, so are we, when we say jacket, are we talking like a zip up hoodie or like a zip up jacket? Or is this kind of like a cloak where it has an opening slit here? Because it seems like there's a slit here and a slit up here.
I don't see any response. I wonder if they've wandered off. This would have been a perfect one to have a conversation over, because it's this type of thing is all up to artist interpretation, really.
Hmm.
So which one do you think it is, Ali?
I'm gonna take a long shot here and guess these lines are to show kind of like the sleeves of the jacket coming up. And what I would say is we could adjust that a bit. Let me get a smaller, more red. Okay. So this circle is our chest here, and we have our arms coming out of it. I don't think we need a pointed edge. We can just bring up the line and not have it connect because it feeds into the sweater itself. We could have little like little fabric and bits kind of scrunching up in that chest area. But oh, they came back. The question was this part here, is this like a cloak or is it more like a zip up jacket um situation? We just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, zip up. So yeah, my advice basically boils down to you don't need it connecting here to demonstrate that these are two sleeves of the jacket. I would just suggest making them come up on either side, and that would be good enough. And as for the hip there, you basically just need a line to swing across the stomach there, and then it's convincing enough. You don't need to make it too detailed, like this little inner point. I think you could just make that a line, maybe like around the sleeve area, and that'd be the base of the jacket. Nice and simple. Sometimes going a little bit simpler is better than being too confusing in a small spot, especially when the piece is such a little cute, like, very stylized, simple pony. The readability of it, I guess it should be called. Yeah, no problem. And just as a one other thing that poked out to me, just be careful with this little foot over here, because unless it's meant to be lifted off the ground, all the other feet are about in line with each other, and this one's raised way up in the air. So just if it's meant to be lifted up, great. If not, just remember to pull it down just a little, so it matches up with this guy over here.
Clothes are hard.
They are. Those are hard, but they're fun too. All the
You
little
should-
wrinkles and folds.
You only need to fake them well enough. People will look at them and go, "Yeah, that's fine." They don't need to be perfect.
Mhm.
All right. Let's roll on to our next one.
Mhm.
Right next door, right?
Let's see if we can ping them.
Because I
Yuki.
think yeah, Yuki's in the voice with us.
Yuki.
Voice chat.
Ah,
Hello.
Hi.
that just sudden response just reminded me of CPC, because that's how she enters.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a compliment.
Thank you.
All right, Yuki. This horse, the standing horse. You need help with the body, and you don't get it. Really sorry, you don't draw a lot of digital art. Don't be sorry about drawing traditional. That's the only thing I draw.
Good thing.
Okay. So help with the body.
Super
Proportions. Have you gone to our subreddit and checked out some of those beginner guides and exterior guides just to look over the proportion sections of it and breaking down the body parts?
I have, but this isn't that new. I haven't drawn anything recently, so I just posted this one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't be sorry. We're just
You
trying
sure about
to
the rest, Mr. Roll?
Oh, good.
get to the heart of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then my suggestion would be crack out that pencil and paper again and get back to drawing because older pictures don't help you in the present. They're past you. I am better than I was yesterday, and that is true basically every single day that I don't smack my hand with a hammer, which seems too far and few between, really. So crack out that pencil, crack out the paper, draw another horse. Try redrawing this one even. You already know you had some troubles with it. Now with the power of critique, maybe we can guide you into a bit more of the horse you're looking for. Make sense?
Yeah.
Already a very cute thing.
He's
Hmm.
super cute. I know
Thank
something.
you.
When there's a particular part that I have trouble learning to draw, I find it really helpful to find other artists' streams and watch them sketch. Something about that, just watching them do it in front of me in the time they're doing it just clicks in my brain a bit. So if horse anatomy is something that's troubling you and you're just having trouble with the bodies and like it's not clicking, go find someone on Picarto or on Twitch or anyone live streaming themselves drawing ponies. And it's sometimes
Hmm.
it's not for everyone, but it can be that thing that just like makes everything click.
Arson's currently doing traditional drawings up on Picarto. I mean, it looks like they're actually eating cereal right now, but they'll be back to art soon. They're very good artists, and it looks like they're just pounding out a whole bunch of
Dawson,
pictures in a row.
yeah, Dawson's great. The draw I would just watch here because if you follow the original, that's not a color apparently. Um, if you follow the original line, it like sort of goes up here, like halfway between the ear, and then there's this random like extra side bit of the head that isn't really anything. So I just brought the after the jaw sort of curves up at the chin, you want it to sort of come back down into the jawline and then go up towards where the ear is. You don't have to show the entire line; you can cut it off. But it usually helps me just to draw the line in, just to get an idea of it, and then you can sort of pull it back a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anyways, I hope our scribbles help you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
I
it's the other.
find like when you're thinking about wings, a good shape to think about is this sort of. I'm the one who read up here. Sort of like this triangle that has like more like this shorter on this side and longer on this side.
Yeah.
Shorter, a bit longer. And the cool thing is, this shape can also be useful for the body. So whenever I'm drawing bodies, I'll be like, okay, I'll draw the head, I'll draw the sort of neck thing, cool. And then for the body, I'll do that same kind of shape, but like bigger. And then I'll just cut off there. And then that's where kind of the butt will go into the legs and stuff. So that kind of like just triangle shape thing can be really useful because it can also be used for the.
There's all sorts of different ways to break down the body and wings and legs and other shapes using like geometric shapes, but it's worth trying out different ones because that's a good technique. There's like the way I do the bodies is in like two like circles like this, and then the legs will come off of that. But everyone can do different ways of building up the bodies, and it just sort of helps to find the way that feels like it makes the most sense to you.
Yeah, as you sketch, you'll like as you like sketch and you like look at other people's art and then try to draw it yourself, you'll find out that like, oh, I like making the body out of like a bean shaped thing, or I like making the body out of two circles and then connecting them or whatever, and yeah, you'll find a way. Look at other people's art, try to copy it, and see how it goes.
All right, shall we move on to our next horse?
Yeah. How about that reminder again, Aldi?
Yeah, buddy. Let me just scroll on up over here.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So the first picture is by, or the first Reddit submitted one is by Mox Jedi, and it's I want to learn to do digital art, but while I wait for my drawing pad to come in, I thought I'd try traditional pony practice. So we got a message for you. All right. So let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. Get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good, but the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to
reiterate,
do a weekly
at the
stream.
top at the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please give it a watch. That's
It is Ali
PSA.
approved.
All right. Now with that
Yay.
message out of the way, let's move on to the critique element of
Oh,
that.
what good points! That was so insightful.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
So many
was
good.
it was a great conversation we all just had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that some of the things that I sort of want to point out is boom. Now this muzzle, the cool thing is that you can basically have a little bit more near the end, just like pudge it out this sort of way and do something like this. So boom, do something like that, have like this shape here, and then kind of similar to what you've already done, just like boom, and then have the bottom lip sort of come out like that, and it looks pretty similar to sort of what you've done already, but having some space in here like really sells it as like a full muzzle sort of a thing, and you can do whatever you want to do up here with the eyes. Something that's really cool to do is to start off by drawing the whole eye shape. You'll see how Zai's doing it over here as well, where you'll draw out the full eye shape in pencil or whatever you use, full eyes, and then you'll come into it and you'll cut into it with these eyebrows or eye whatever's, and you can leave these like there because having the top of the eyelids sort of showing is sort of pushing that expression, that like tired, annoyed sort of a thing you're going for. Like, look at how Fluffy's eyes done it, and it looks perfect and brilliant. You can do the same thing and bring that up there. And something interesting with a pose with an expression like this is to add these little like lines. They're like kind of like almost tired lines, but they can like express some. They can probably like help push the pose that you're going for, the expression that you want. So something like that. With the ear, you can just practice with different sorts of like ears. I like doing this thing where it's like a little internal sort of shape like this, and I just have like the rest of the ear sort of come off of it, something like that. And that's a fairly simple kind of an ear, but it works all right.
It's worth looking at how different artists draw ears because there's so many different ways to do them. It's so fun.
You can just make them bigger. Don't worry about ears being too big. They can never be too big. Just make them bigger.
Got a magical little ear shape here.
Yeah, this part of the hair looks good. For this part of the hair, I just like kind of like pushed it out a little bit. Whenever I'm like drawing Twilight's hair, I tend to have this like this shape for kind of the bottom of it, and then it goes up, then it comes in, and I have this kind of like this sort of a shape. It has like a really interesting kind of like balance. But you can
That's
mess
how I like
around
to
with that.
edit do it as well.
Yeah, you can mess around with that as you draw Twilight more. No stress. Yeah, it's a super good picture. I love it. It's good. And you can critique people on Reddit, and give them tips and hints and stuff, and then that will let you see tips and hints about your own stuff. So yeah, good drawing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And remember, helping someone else with their critique helps you learn.
Yeah.
It's the secret.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Yeah. Another Twilight.
Just keep the Twiggy train rolling.
Twilight, yeah.
Keep the Twiggy train sparkling.
This is by My Little Pony Gamer, and it's called I Drew Twilight Sparkle 2 weeks ago.
They're cutie patootie.
Good job.
All right, so let's
You did a good
talk
job of
about
drawing it.
critique. All right, let's start off with the critique blurb and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. Get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you.
Yeah.
And you'll learn at the same time.
Go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good, but the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do
reiterate
a weekly
at the
stream.
top. At the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's
It's
PSA.
Ali approved.
All right. That was a good discussion on critiquing each other and giving critiques. So let's
I'm glad
now
how we
actually
can just
critique this picture.
points over and over again.
It's amazing how consistent we are.
Yep.
I know. We're really good at reciting it.
Photographic memory.
1 sec. I'm just uploading
I've
that
just been
video to
scribbling.
YouTube because I think we need to just fire it at people constantly.
Yeah.
So she has 4 eyes now, where I've drawn to move the eye up. So I've just been scribbling to reiterate what we said in the last person critique on Twilight's main. It's cool to give it this like up and then sort of back in sort of V. It's a really fun main to draw once you get the hang of it. Yeah. I brought the snout into a more sort of angular horse-like shape. Cartoonized, of course, but horses have these like longer shapes, so you're not wrong in giving them a longer snout than what they do in the show. It's just a stylistic thing. Plenty of people do it. I think you did a good job, but I was just sort of you even got like a nice little hook on the jaw there. I was just showing you how to interpret what you've already drawn anatomically. And I just sort of cleaned up the anatomy and placement stuff a bit.
Yeah, it's really cool to like, especially for horses like Twilight with the big manes and all that sort of stuff, to like push the mane off of the head. So like if you look at the original, like your original mane, it sticks really close to sort of where the head would go normally. Like if I'm imagining Twilight's head, I imagine her head like kind of like this, and the mane doesn't really stray too much from it. But like her mane sort of coming out here, doing all that stuff, and also like down here, coming out here and doing like
Yeah.
whatever kind of stuff. It's just like ways to sort of differentiate the mane from the head, and it makes your picture a bit more interesting. Oh, and something to look at is how much this eye sort of goes into the side of the head. So with the side of the head, you've kind of got this like area which is like properly side of the head, and it's usually good for the eye to sort of stick towards sort of the front of the head. And it feels strange to do it when you're like drawing a side view of a pony, but it does make your pictures look a little bit more
Yeah.
like you
So
sort of want them to.
to sort of break this mystery for you, if I were to cut out everything, it's not in the layer I wanted to. Hold on a second. If I were to, it's really hard to switch with my tablet pen on. I can rub out everything but this little section here, and then I were to tell you that this is a picture of the front of Twilight's face. She's looking directly at us at the camera, facing us. That would make a lot of sense because that's kind of what it looks like we're looking at, and it's because the show style. Not that you've done anything wrong, but the show style basically does this, where it will the eyes in the front are exactly the same as the eyes from the side. They just take the front view eye and just plant it on the side of the face, and that's part of the reason why they like don't make as much sense in 3D. But what I've done here is an example of how to draw like side view eyes, which is like one of the first things I think people learn when learning to draw anime, is how to do like a little sort of crocodile draw eyes, maybe not inside the face, because that's sort of like how you draw like side view, and it is true to real life. That is sort of how the shape that eyes take on, because they're spheres locked into the skull in like a little socket, and we're seeing just like a little window. They're not a sticker that's on the side of the face, So we're gonna see the way that the sort of bracket framing the eye moves as we look around the face. What you might have also seen is I drew like the whole eye first up here, and then I cut it half off and used the top of the circle to put where the brow is, because it's a relaxed expression, so the brow is just sitting on top of where the eye socket is. Which is pretty much what I think you're trying to go for. But if you wanted to move the brow a little bit, you can do that. Oops, that's not what I want. I'm on the wrong layer. Haha. Could move the brow down a little bit. There's all sorts of things you could do. But it helps to draw the eye first, because then you get an idea. Oops. you get an idea of what you're trying to, where it's supposed to be placed and what you're working with, and then you can sort of twist it to have the actual shape that you want for the expression. This is obviously a relaxed pose, so it's very little about it is changing, but if you're doing a more extreme expression, you might, and to give like an example, oops, that's not the tool that I want. You might have, so there's the whole eye again. Maybe the character is going to be doing like a focused glare, bring that the top of the eyelid up a little bit, and the mouth is like pushing up, so it's pushing into the eyelid here, and the brow is coming down, which is pushing down on it, so the eye is having this sort of like focused squish. There's all sorts of ways to use expressions, but it really helps to have that like initial eye shape before you start drawing them. Whoops, I can't undo any more than that. I've ruined my drawing.
Anyone else got any other points of critique on this one?
Nope, they covered it perfectly.
Yeah. Fluffy does a great job. All right, let's move on to our next pony head.
Heck yeah. Next pony.
Oh, what's happening over in the side? Stolen from Celestia.
Oh, I was
that
going
makes
the other
sense.
direction because I have a kid.
We drew some horses over here, and I coloured in Swallow with their official Pokemon colours. Clearly. Oh, and I drew a rarity bird.
It's magical. You're magical.
Yep. We wanted a marshmallow bird, and I've delivered.
I appreciate it. I will love and cherish it forever.
I completely forgot that as when I started doing the drawing in that last Twilight picture, I flipped the canvas to draw the muzzle a bit more easily, and I was flipped the entire time, and it's so weird seeing it facing right now.
I was
Alright.
flipped when LD was like putting all the art in, and I was like, why is LD putting the art at the top right? What the hell?
I read too much manga that week. Alright, so our next picture is by Fantality, I don't know, MLP. They come up with a very hard to pronounce name, and I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing something wrong there. I haven't drawn in a while, so here's a traditional sketch I've done. I hope y'all enjoy it. I do enjoy traditional. It's great.
Yeah, we all do.
But hey, you know what else I enjoy? Critiquing people. Here, have
That's
a quick
things
message
about
from
it.
our...
Man, that's consistent with how we've spoken before.
Huh. All right, so let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on
Yes.
how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make
Yep.
a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll
just
learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good, but the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do a
reiterate,
weekly
at the
stream.
top at the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's the
It's Ali
PSA.
approved.
All right. And now with that blurb of wonderful critique knowledge, let's get on to the critique. So I already see two people have started up some lovely drawings here. Who do we got doing this?
Zai and Zai.
Zai! You've cloned yourself.
If you mean the white and the blue
Yeah.
over here. Yeah, I was just decided to do the main and the blue color. It was also the color I used for the undersketching, so yeah, it's not confusing at all.
I do
I
like
was
that.
just doing some sketch overs. It helps that you've got a totally adorable pony already. I was just I wanted to move the sort of head back into the neck a little bit, and I just was sort of neatening everything up a little bit. But really, what you've got already is already super cute.
I do like that I see signs of an undersketch here. A well erased undersketch means you got some very good technique going on there, because you're actually able to erase your sketches. Good job. Props due. And I love these freckles. You've gone
Yes,
with
that's
cute, and then you've been like, I'm gonna pour some more cute on this, and we're just gonna see how cute gets, and then it
Pick
explodes
up a
in
bucket
cute.
of freckles that's labeled cute.
Yeah.
So one of the things I did, and you don't have to do this because the pony seems to have a very pudgy cheek, but something we like to do is where I've got the side of the face coming in, you'll notice it sort of reaches down here and then has like a little chin like bending around the mouth, just to add a little bit of extra shape to the face and head. Also made the horn just a teensy bit bigger. Sorry, at the right angle, but it is difficult. Freckles.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have drawn them in red, but you know, freckles.
Yeah, when I do freckles, I like to sort of drawing like supersized over here, but I sort of will try and space out and randomize the positioning and size and rotation as much as I can so that they don't look too uniform. Which usually you can do, at least I can do this with Cut Studio. I'll just use a single brush, and I just sort of, no, I just sort of do single dots. It doesn't look as good here because it's all square, but what has happened? Oh, I'm using a pencil. That's why my sketching felt different than normal. Oh well. Anyone else have any points?
I don't. It's a very
Nope.
simplistic picture, but simplistic is good. Simplistic is fine.
Yeah, it was just very, very cute. Brightened our day a little bit.
Hope to
Keep
see
on
more art
drawing.
for you, and don't forget to critique other people.
Yeah.
All right. let's move on to our next horse. We got some more traditional.
It's actually a twist. Traditional with a twist.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Twist. I drew. This is by Gwenda Silvana. I drew my friend's persona, Sandy Rose, pencil drawing, colored digitally. That's fun. I drew
Right?
yeah. I would have said this was traditional from the onset, but it's just the texture, the consistency of the color beneath it definitely Yeah, that's wonderful.
You've
have-
done a
You're
good
doing
job
a
of
good
keeping
job, you're
the
creative
keeping the traditional feeling even while doing the digital coloring.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't lost anything there.
But have
hard
we
to do.
talked to you about critiquing other art yet? All right, so let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. Get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll
just
learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good. But the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do a
reiterate,
weekly
at the
stream.
top at the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's the
It's Ali
PSA.
approved.
Good advice on the critique there. Good advice, everyone.
Mhm.
Yay.
Pat on the backs all around.
Let's talk about this horse here. Hey, pink on pink doesn't work. Who would have ever guessed?
Is that a challenge?
I mean, it can work.
No, you're right. It doesn't work. Awful.
Is that a challenge?
Okay. Calm down.
Be here forever.
Fight.
Hard fight.
When you're looking at like this part of the horse, what I like to do is I like to from the side view I like to actually have it like kind of dip down in this kind of a way here. I think it just like kind of like ends up working a little bit better in general for like most things. So you can make it a little bit more rounded, but try to avoid that sort of. Oh no. Just try to avoid this sort of like very sticky outy look when the rest of the horse isn't really like being too pushed around, because it looks a little bit unnatural. So, you know, just bring that down a little bit. It'll be fun.
So based on how much your head is turned, your other eye was bothering me just a bit, and I think it's because how much it was pushing out. So you have this, you created a bit of a bulge, which makes sense because essentially they are like medicine balls in the side of their heads that they call eyeballs. They are hilariously huge, but in this case, they fit into like this quantum pocket that just sort of disappears. So we're gonna take the best advantage of this interdimensional storage that they call their eye socket. We're gonna pull back in that eye. We can still give that lovely shape you've built up with the eyelashes sticking out there. Gives a beautiful shape on it. But we're just gonna bring that back in, and it's gonna help even out the side of that head. And I've also just shrunk down the muzzle. That's a personal choice. In the show, they do have like 4 different mare muzzles and like 12 different male muzzles. Really, it's a pick and choose game. Do as you wish, not as I instruct, sort of deal here. But I've shrunk it down just because the petite little muzzle is the most standard that they do, and it's just adds a little bit to that adorableness and means you don't have to try and stick the eye out a bit to try and even it up. Love this little rose on top of that.
Mm.
Oh, so beautiful.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah. When you're thinking of like this whole like front of the face structure thing, think about the center line. So there's just the center line between the 2 eyes running down towards the muzzle thing. The nostril, one of them will go on this side of the center line, one of them will go on that side of the center line. The far one will be like a little bit closer just because of perspective sort of thing. One eye will be, this far away. The other eye will be like roughly a similar kind of thing away. But this far eye won't be anywhere near as wide. And especially when you're coming from like this much of an angle, you're barely going to see any of that eye at all. If any. It's part of that like you'll get the same thing when you like foreshortening. So like you've got like a cylinder kind of thing, and then when it like comes to face the camera more, you'll end up like looking like this, and it feels really weird to draw it like that because it's like, oh, you're hiding a lot of it. You're not really sort of showing it when you could be showing it, but it's better to draw something like this than it is to draw, for example, something like this, because it's a bit subtle, but this one sort of, it shows that you understand a little bit more about sort of the 3D space and about all that kind of stuff. So don't be afraid to show stuff. To hide stuff. You can hide a lot of this eye, all that kind of thing, and just makes your drawing look a bit better. Also, when you're doing the different colors for different parts of the hair, and it like wraps around a sort of section like this, it's a little bit difficult to sort of have these separate sections colored differently and to have it sort of look right kind of thing, I guess. When you're like talking about the different color boundaries, like this one's the more saturated pink and the more desaturated pink and that sort of stuff, it can be good to sort of decouple it a little bit from this like physical stuff, or to like not as much couple it towards that, because it can end up looking a little bit strange and like distorting your forms in kind of interesting ways. But yeah, really good horse.
Hmm.
I didn't realize they were standing on a rose as well. That's cool. I like it.
I only have one small thing. It's just going back to proportioning. Just be careful of that front leg. I know it's a very common thing. I feel like we see a lot of artists do, where when the pony picks up their leg, they want to get that nice long swooping angle. But be careful, because when that pony then puts their leg down straight, it's gonna be like down into the rose. So just be careful when you do scrunch up those ponies to keep the size intact with as if it would be straight. So it's just a little thing to keep in mind.
There's the people artists who are like, oh yeah, you should always like use the little connecting balls and all that sort of stuff. And I don't like those very much. But there's one thing that they're really good for, which is comparing sizes. And you can do that sort of stuff and sort of do that kind of a thing and use it as like a bit of a size comparison between different parts of your sort of body and things like that.
Personally, instead of the lines, because I don't know what it is, the lines just never clicked with me. I like to use shapes, so like I would just like a pill here, a pill here. It's all about like the same ovally size, and if I can, then connect those circles again going straight down, it's like, okay, circle here, circle here, circle here. Obviously, the horse isn't as even as I made those circles just now, but using those shapes, super helpful for me.
I like looking at other people's art and sort of printing it out and then just like drawing simplified things on top. And over the time of doing that, I've sort of come to like settle on basically like this kind of a shape for the thigh sort of a thing. It goes down into like an almost like a distorted cylinder, and then to like a more normal cylinder, and like all that sort of stuff. And so just messing about, you can sort of end up finding your own shapes, which can be pretty fun and useful. Yeah, just keep drawing. Keep drawing cool stuff and keep yourself motivated, and yeah, you'll pick up all this.
All right, shall we move on to our... Oh,
Yes, moving on.
we're on the same page here. All right, we got another horse. This is by...
Everyone's drawing horses today. Strange.
I don't... It must be the season.
Yep.
So this is by AOE, Cyber Tiger. And it's drawing of a friend I did in the MLP style back in 2016, I think. Now, before I hop into this one, I am legitimately interested. Is this a style that you had back in 2016, or is this a picture you did back in 2016? Because if it's a picture you did back in 2016, boy, I'm pretty sure there's people on this channel that are younger than that. Okay, well, that's only 5, but I know people younger than that have watched our YouTube videos, because parents be weird.
If you drew this picture back in 2016, what we say will not help you in the slightest. Just because since then your art may have gone forward, like gotten better in terms of knowledge and all that sort of stuff. It might have gotten a bit worse. It might have whatever. Your understanding of art may have like improved. It's not super useful to like put pictures in there for critique that are pretty old, just because it's not really going to be relevant to sort of the stuff that you're doing these days, to your level of knowledge or drawing at the moment. So yeah.
Now, Pixie, I don't know if nothing we say is going to be useful. I do have some words of advice on giving and getting critique. All right, so let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on
Yes.
how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make
Yep.
a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll
just
learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good, but the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do a
reiterate,
weekly
at the
stream.
top at the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's
It's
PSA.
only approved.
Wow, guys, I totally agree about all that critique talk.
So
I
well
see- I
said
see
and
your point.
worded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
I
your
also
point.
concur.
I saw my work being featured again. I'm so excited to get feedback, improved version of the same post. Whoa! We have one of the people in our horse chat.
Whoa.
We will get to your picture shortly. We're just going to finish up this one, and then we'll segue over there.
Yeah.
So, instead of giving this critique, if it is a picture from 2016, to reiterate, as we said earlier, give us something new. Give us something from at least this month. Because, as we said, older pictures not as relevant, especially this old. And get back into art. It doesn't bite too often. It might give paper cuts. It might occasionally get ink and markers and pens and all sorts of stuff everywhere. Just everywhere. Someone will be questioning how you got gouache on the ceiling. You'll be like, I was trying to make a star field. It's fine. It's not gonna hurt.
This is a true story.
Listen, my landlords are going to love when they actually investigate deeply. So shall we move on to our next picture then?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Before this pony chomps these feet. So
It only
let's-
bites a little.
Which one is theirs? I'm just looking for the. There it is. They are beneath this, directly beneath this one. So we're gonna
Ha.
do a little shimmy, a little scoot. That's your picture, right?
Yeah. The other one that you've got on the post looks awesome. The watercolory one.
Yeah. We try and choose only one from each artist that hasn't got a piece of critique that week. In this case,
So
go ahead.
I was just looking at our one we're looking at. There's an improved one. So I think this is the older one, and there's an improved one we should be looking at.
I think it's a
Yes.
just a slightly different one.
No, that's
this
a
one.
very much improved picture. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me get this on here. Just smack it over. Sorry, I have downloaded.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. This one's from 2011, and the other
Yeah.
one's from. Okay. Now I see. I was like, what are you talking about? They're two different pictures. Huh? Okay.
Unfortunately,
That's
some of the weeks we don't spend as much time looking over every single post before we go over them, and some of this stuff totally escapes us.
Some of us are sillies. You know?
Yeah. I'm just gonna blame CPC for it.
Works for me.
Yep.
Right, so we're just gonna
Every week CPC's in here is more stuff to blame.
Sounds reasonable. All right. Do you have any questions in particular on this one?
I gotta say, right off the bat, the line weight and the line art improvement is so nice. It's so clean and smooth, and you even have different line weights going on for like the inside of the hair versus the outside of the hair. That stuff is so good. I can see that improvement almost instantaneously.
10 years
Heck
of
yeah.
improvement shows. I have a question about your wing going on here. Are because the other character also only had one side of the wing. Is this like down the center of the spine? Are they supposed to be wings? Is this just a element of the picture that's going on? Tell me about the wings. Also,
You've confused Elte.
yeah.
One day Aga will load again.
They are wings. Okay. So let's talk horse wings, and we can horse around a bit on them because horse puns are completely needed. They
Winks.
exist on both sides, based on winks. I have never seen that, but let me just pop out a reference. I believe they are human shaped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like fairies.
Fairies.
Okay.
Fairies, yeah.
Well, that makes sense for that wing. So they exist on both sides, and this is a very common thing that gets dropped all the time. And even me, after I don't know how many years of doing this, I still occasionally forget that they exist on both sides, just like ears suddenly not existing on both sides. It's an easy thing to drop, but it can be. There are easy methods of trying to ensure that you have them every time. One of the things I started doing for a while was literally a checklist: horn, ears, eyes, hair, wings, legs. And it was check off, check off, check off, check off. Oh, look, the horse is done. And if they had more than that, you start questioning what you've done. You might have made an abomination like floor 5.
I know.
All right, horse.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to just say you've got the. I'm assuming that these three all are one wing. Boom, 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 and then you just need a little bit of overlap. So you can just do like another wing, kind of coming from the same spot, and that can just be your back wing. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. It's just like, hey, another wing does exist.
Hmm.
It just like makes your picture look a little bit more like, hey, bah. See through. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
With your traditional, it is difficult because it's slightly harder, but it looks like you have a bit of watercolor going on here. So you have a wonderful tool that allows you to do transparence if applied correctly. And this takes quite a few goes to make sure you can get the proper methodology down. Water, or add a whole bunch of water to it. Just oodles of water to your color. It's going to make it very, very, very thin. When you put it on, you're going to be able to keep building it
into a
up.
waterfall.
Sorry?
Chuck it into a waterfall.
Chuck it into a
Yep.
waterfall. Yes, you're going to go for the holistic version of water. It's going to be a wonderful cure. No, of paint. Yes. You're sorry, derailed brain. Let's go back here. You're going to water it down a whole lot, and that's going to allow you to apply multiple layers and still have it very thin. So you can build up your bottom wing first, and then build up the second, or the front wing, the closest to the viewer, second, and that overlap will naturally just double up the amount of paint there. You have to wait for the bottom layer to dry, though. That is so boring to do, because you are literally watching paint dry. That caused pinkies to explode. But you got this.
Yeah, you can if you want to. What you can do is you can just sort of get your piece of paper and then try like drawing some line art for some like overlapping wings, like just in like pencil or something like that, something really light, and then kind of come back over with an eraser or whatever, and then like half erase one of the things, and then just give it a shot with your coloring. Like try out the sort of adding color to one of them, and then maybe while it's still wet, you can sort of come over with the other wing and then see how that like all bleeds together. Or maybe you can like explicitly like try to do this, and then try to do the wing on top, and then maybe come back in with a bit of a blue color or something like that. And you can just mess about with it. Have a page of just practicing and messing about, and you don't need to use watercolor paper. You can just use normal printer paper or whatever for like little experiment sort of stuff like this. So yeah. Oh yeah, I mean this is like awesome. Good. This is a great horse. Great horse. Love it. We're focusing on little things because it looks pretty good. Looks pretty accomplished.
Hmm.
Something that might be interesting to try as well is to look at the hooves, the leggies and everything, and just look at the sort of width of them the entire way down. I tend to when I'm drawing have them start off fairly big. Let's go with the back one start, and it sort of dips in for this whole area, and then I have them sort of get a little bit wider right near the end. And I tend to do something a little bit similar for sort of the front legs as well. It just helps sort of with make them feel stable and all that kind of stuff. So you can mess about with that and see how it goes. Can be useful.
Hmm. And just like a small nitpick, the head just feels a little too big. Maybe it's a little too wide at the front here. If you just pull it in a little bit, just watch those proportions. Yeah, and I like personally to have, especially when the pony's stretching their jaw upward, to have a nice flat jaw because it's the skin stretching as much as it can to face upwards, so there won't be much of a downward bump here. So if you just make the muzzle, just kind of get it a straight shot. Maybe you can have a small bump for like the bottom of the jaw where the actual jawbone connects. You can have like a little bump there, but then it'll come into the neck. So just something to be a little careful of there.
Yeah.
And super nitpicky stuff. Like this is gorgeous stuff. I love the rendering here on the hair, especially this one and also the back tail here. Like
That's well
so
done.
nice.
It's really interesting to see sort of the difference in rendering between the horse and between the background and all that sort of stuff. And it might be intentional, it might not be, but it adds a nice kind of balance to the picture. Looks good. Good stuff. I love it.
Mm. Now I can't wait to see what the next 10 years is gonna look like. Every 10
Exactly.
years you can draw Stella Ponified.
Yep.
Shall we move on to our next one?
Let's
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna go back up to these three horses. Yeah. So this is by the Yimmy
Mm.
What?
the YMYMY Yimmy.
Mimi. I don't know.
My first try into pony humanization.
Heck yeah, looks good. I love it. You've done like a pretty good job across most of it.
Very
It's the muzzles are interesting. It's probably just your style. Like it's all good. I'd probably make them a little bit sharper in some areas and sort of bring it up a little bit. But that's fine. You can sort of I tend with the nostrils, I tend to have those sitting kind of like, if you think of the muzzle as like this like 3D box kind of a thing. I tend to have the nostrils sort of sitting at or like near the corners almost. That tends to work out pretty well for me. But I think so far, like these, you're going pretty well. It's just going to be a case of like looking at some more references and all that sort of stuff, and just trying it out more to sort of see what works and what doesn't.
You know,
I think.
you know what else might help?
Hmm.
Starting to critique others. All right, so let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. Get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll
just
learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good, but the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do a
reiterate
weekly
at the
stream.
top. At the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's the
It's Ali
PSA.
approved.
Critique. It's great. Give it a go.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
It's the best. So, picture looks awesome. I love it. It's great. But something that is true for the picture is that there's a lot of saturated colors in here. Most everywhere you look on the picture is using these very saturated, very sort of full colors. And what that means is that when people look at this, it can be a bit hard for sort of the eyes to settle on anything, to like find anywhere to sort of sit and rest. So what you can do is look at your picture and think about, okay, what are the important parts? What are the parts that I really want people to look at? Like, you know, maybe the way that Twilight looks, maybe this whole area, maybe a little bit of this, maybe some of this sort of stuff. And what you can do is think, okay, the areas outside that are parts. I'm just coming in with like a bit of a grey brush. You could like come in with like some specific desaturation stuff, but like I'll just do a little bit of grey brush over it. And, you know, come to those areas which aren't as important and just sort of make them less saturated, you know. Do this kind of stuff around the place. You know, boom, 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 boom. And basically just like push more focus into the areas which are important and which you do sort of spend more time rendering and all that kind of stuff. And it might feel strange. It might feel like, oh, I'm hiding parts of my picture, or I'm making my picture sort of harder to see, or stuff like that. But what you're kind of really doing is just saying to the person who's viewing it, to the person who's like seeing your picture, hey, here are the parts where I've put time and effort in. Here are the parts that are really important, and here's what you should be looking at. And it'll help people sort of look at your art and think, oh, this person knows a little bit more about art. They're able to sort of direct your focus, direct your attention, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I'd recommend, because like in general, your human stuff, I think your human anatomy kind of stuff is at a point where I'm looking at it and I'm going, this person knows, humans. This person does a bit of life drawing, does a bit of all that sort of stuff. They don't really need me to be like, oh, this tiny little part of the thing could be slightly, you know that, all that sort of stuff. Like focus on the composition and focus on, the directing your viewers' focus around your picture. That's probably what would help you the most right now.
Agreed.
That was a lot of me saying stuff. Does anyone else have things to say?
That's how I feel whenever I go on a long tangent.
Nah, I'm just here to back you up. Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, I love all of this like contrast on Twilight, and the way that the light is sort of portrayed through it. It's like great. I love it. I love the hue shifting, and it's all that. It's so lovely.
Absolutely. My favorite part, I know this is so weird, but like this knee, the way it's rendered, how like subtle the shading changes for like the different planes of the knee there, that is just so well done. I just love that. I get the
thinking about
shape.
that for
but
like
not.
I was thinking like that for like this knee and this like internal look at that. Look
Yeah.
at that inside of the elbow.
That's
Oh
so
my god.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, you know your muscle structure.
Yeah.
I do have a question. This amount of food, it doesn't seem like a lot. Does it seem like enough food for even a pinky? There needs to be cake
Definitely
here.
not.
Yep.
She's hiding it in her hair. It's Pinky. She's just storing it,
All the food is behind the camera. They put it out of shot because they didn't want people without food to feel sad.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Yeah. Amazing
Let's do
picture. Chuck us more.
We got a Celestia.
Who drew this?
I'll have to, one sec. There's the link. It is by Creativia Artly 1998113. Funny how 3 of my Junicorn prompts turned out to be MLP this year. Sun, Moon, and Kieran. Enjoy. What is Junicorn?
It's like the monthly drawing things, except a month of unicorn drawing.
Oh, I see.
Well, that's fun. All right.
You know what else is fun?
What?
Critiquing art.
Whoa. All right. So let's talk about critique and why you should be giving critique. As you might have noticed, the subreddit is quite quiet on the amount of critique, and you've probably waited up to 7 days to get a piece of critique. That is not cool. You could help fix this problem. You could make this go away. You could use this to learn and improve your art by asking questions. How do you do that? It's actually kind of easy and hard and wonderful at the same time. You gotta critique others. And you might be going, but hold on, I'm not good at art. I don't know what to do. Did you just draw a picture that you submitted? You did? That's what we're posting to? Yeah, you're a person that can critique art too. It's quite easy. What you do, you take that picture, you look at it and you go, well, I see some things. I see some things that I might have addressed, or that I have an inkling of an idea of how to address, or maybe I just want to start a conversation that could help the other person figure it out. It's quite easy. Art and critique is a conversation. get in that conversation. If you go check out the top of our subreddit, you'll see a video on
Yes.
how to give beautiful critique. In our sidebar, you'll find guides on giving critique. Spend 10 minutes, read them, and give someone some critique this week. Do it. It will help you. It will help everyone else. Everyone wins.
Maybe you'll make
Yep.
a new friend. It's all good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to
However
someone's.
long you've waited for critique, that other people have been waiting too. So you can be the person to help them, and then maybe someone will be the person to help you,
Yeah,
and you'll
just
learn at the same time.
go to someone's piece of art, take a look at it, and then maybe you can be like, "Hey, looks good. But the eye looks a bit weird." That's all you need to say. That's a critique. That's fine. You know, you can be one sentence. All good.
You don't
Love to
need to do a
reiterate
weekly
at the
stream.
top. At the top of that subreddit, there is that video. It is the best video. Just watch it. It's good. It's all about critique, about receiving and giving. Please, please give it a watch. That's the
It's Ali
PSA.
approved.
I totally agree on critique. Everyone should give and love critique.
What a bunch of smart people.
Yeah. I could listen to them again. And I might just
We
in a
probably
few
will.
minutes.
Yep. Heck yeah, drawing.
Yeah.
You can see the changes that Zai's made to sort of the structure of the face, and just making the eyes bigger and making the muzzle a little bit smaller and all that kind of stuff.
Or shapely. All of this might look a bit overwhelming, like, oh wow, there's just like so much. How am I supposed to do this? It's all a case of like everything I've done here. I was not like I didn't start with the knowledge of how to do this. You know, like it comes from referencing. So you know that's something we like to push a lot on here. I mean, today we're having to push critique pretty hard, but we typically like to push referencing. So what helps the most is going to other artists. So you know you'd want to what I perceive to be a side view, Celestia mostly. So you know you in the future would look up like online, look up pictures of Celestia, find her from side view, either from the show or other artists having drawn her from side view, and just look at how they've shaped the face. I've done much more like shapely horse-like sort of anatomy than what they do in the show, so you don't have to do it this way. This is just my showing you a way that you can interpret the style. You can reference the show, you can reference other artists, you can reference what I've just drawn here. It's absolutely fine. But as long as you're looking and sort of trying to break down how and why things are placed the way they are, is the important thing. Because these are creatures that have anatomy. They have bones and muscles, and it all sort of makes sense, and it is put together in a particular way, even when they're breaking those rules to make a silly pose.
You know,
But this is just like a side view, so you can draw them to be pretty shapely and nice without worrying too much about breaking anatomy.
you know how people like you'll go around and people will say, tracing is bad. You should never trace ever. Incorrect.
I hate it.
Incorrect.
I hate it.
You can trace, all good. Just don't then post that picture that you like made by tracing and then say, yeah, I made this, or
Yeah.
this is my thing.
Tracing for stealing is bad because stealing is bad. Like that's the thing. It's not that tracing is bad. It's that stealing is bad, and sometimes tracing is used as a tool for stealing. But you know, it's
yeah,
just a
you
technique
know,
of drawing, really.
yeah, if you want to put a picture on your canvas, like, and then you know make a layer above it, and then try to trace it or try to like copy the lines or whatever, that's fine. You know, you're learning stuff. That's you know, you feel free to do that. It's all good. We've all done it, and anyone who says they haven't is a liar. Yeah. But yeah,
All right, shall we roll on to our next source?
I think we should.
Okay.
Who made this one?
Okay.
Some strange person we've never seen before.
Holy
I hear they're awesome.
I hear they're good.
I hear it's Supermarine Spitfire, who
Whoa.
I don't think we need to
What?
give the blurb of
No.
critiquing because they They're an awesome person and could
They're a
take others.
master.
They do.
They're
You
like
get the
the
award.
MVP of her.
So this is for Main Chat's 2021 Luna and Celestia Day. Not an artist training ground meant I did not shade this image. Because you're too busy? Is that? Or is there like a rule no shading and not an artist training ground? I'm
If
not
you shade
quite
your
sure.
band.
Yeah, if you shade, you get banned from Equestria Daily permanently.
That makes sense.
They
you
just
get
don't
ad-
like people throwing shade around, you know?
Ha!
Ha 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 ha. Right.
Um, yeah. I mean, we've gone over your anatomy and bodies and stuff like that. I don't know what more to approach on your pictures here. I think you really just need to put down more ink, like do more
Yeah.
pictures.
Just draw more, and when you're going for like action poses like this, so like when you've got like, you know, Celestia has just hit this ball and the ball's still flying and all that sort of stuff, when you're looking for reference of this, look at YouTube videos of people hitting golf balls and then pause it when it gets to this like sort of a pose, and then, you know, you'll see the person like, you know, full like, you know, chucking their thing around and the ball go flying and all that sort of stuff, and it'll look crazy and it'll look full of motion and full of energy, but it'll be a better reference than, for example, just like looking up on Bing or on Google person hitting golf ball, because most of the time when you go to like stock photos and those sorts of things, they're going to be like these very specifically posed things, like only really like they're going to be like designed to look good in a still photo. They're not going to be like showing the actual motion. So look at videos of the action that you want to do and then just pause it. And, you know, if you're, the good thing is if you're watching YouTube on a computer, the comma and the full stop keys will frame forwards and backwards. So, you know, pull up video, get it to roughly somewhere that like works for what you're trying to do, and then just like frame forwards and frame backwards to find like the perfect thing, and then you can, you know, use a reference based on that.
Excuse me?
When you what?
You can frame forward and frame back on YouTube?
Yep, comma and
apparently.
full stop. Yep,
I just learnt this like yesterday, so
it's the best. Trust me.
I haven't tried it yet.
When you're doing these like kind of action shots and that kind of thing, something you'll see is the line of action, which is just going to be a swoopy thing or like some kind of a line that's going to like be what everything is based off. And, you know, the horse's head might be something like this, and they're swinging the club around, and the rest of their body is kind of like all shaped like this, and they've got like their hoof like out like this, and their other hoof like out like this, and all that kind of thing. And they're going to be like all kinds of twisted and strange and like weird. But that's because they're like going to be like in a full energy pose, and it's going to be like and it's going to end up looking a lot more like full of energy and conveying the sort of stuff that you wanted to. You know, in terms of like actual like drawing and, you know, the shapes of different parts of the body and all that kind of stuff, generally you're pretty right. It's, you know, we can nitpick and we can do all that sort of stuff, but like, you know, looking at action shots and trying to do all that sort of stuff will probably help you in terms of getting down these more like extreme poses that you want to do.
The term full energy pose makes me just imagine they're powering up like it's Dragon Ball Z.
It's not even their final form.
Yep, done.
All right.
So in the final form, I have like 8 more redesigns to do.
Well, I believe with that, we're going to call it a day. So thank
Yeah.
you all for
What?
coming. And remember, critique someone in a positive way. Don't just be like on the street and be like, those pants, they don't match them shoes. It's not constructive. People gotta want the critique.
Yeah.
Although that is pretty funny.
Listen, we
Alright.
gotta go for the emotional angle. Someone starts singing that, sad puppy song and talk about critiquing today.
In
Know,
the arms of an angel. Now,
Today you could be the one to save some poor other artist who needs your help.
For just 15 minutes a day, you can help.
Wonderful. Alright.
Love it.
Thank y'all for coming. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.